What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another SLA video. Happy Saturday, everybody. Of course, the weekend, family time, so no live streams until the weekday, and I may be going back to the office very soon, a little bit more than usual, so we may see a little bit less lives, but I'm going to try to pump out as much videos as possible. Now, this one specifically is a lot about SJW. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's all about SJW, and it's something that a lot of people are still asking about, so I'm going to explain the two best builds you can possibly do for Sung Jin Woo, and we're going to talk about each one in terms of artifacts. We're going to show you guys the performance of each one and why they work the way they work and where you should be using them. Okay, so I'm going to do this on my free-to-play account. This will also qualify for pay-to-win, so whichever way you want to do this, it's up to you. So let's talk about the builds. Now, first build we're going to talk about is going to be the most recent build that I showed you guys in a video. That is the Obsidian build. That's right. Outstanding abilities allows you to get 60% damage right from the get-go as soon as your MP is 40% or more. Now, the goal here, of course, is to maintain that MP as much as you possibly can. There's a couple ways to do that. So I'm going to show you guys again how this works, the benefit of this build, and a couple different things you should know about as well, too, including the fact that there are some downsides to this build as well too, okay? And the downside realistically comes up to the fact that if you are using this build, it's fantastic for quick runs. We're talking about anything up to about 2.5 minutes, almost 3 minutes, you'll completely destroy this because that 60% extra bonus is massive. Now you guys can see I'm running it with Curse. Curse ideally is going to be your best set. You can play around with this set a little bit if you want to, but if you do too much, you will lose combat power. So Curse ideally will be the way you want to go, and then Outstanding Ability is going to be your setup. Now, in terms of stats, you guys can see here, I have 45,476 attack. In regards to my stats, I have strength and perception. I'm not using Intuit. If I had Intuit, I would put 250, 300 intelligence, some in perception, and then the rest in strength. But you guys can see the reason why I have perception at 99% right there with 24k. This is a little bit overkill for the most part. I don't need this much, but it is what it is. We'll leave it there. You guys can see my attack again, 45,000. My crit hit rate is at 10k. My critical hit damage is at 1215. My defense penetration is at 17, and my damage increase is at 12. Now that damage increase, of course, can go up a little bit with cores, but I decided to just stick with the crit damage for now, and I will adjust that accordingly. But you guys can see here, 15, 15, and 10. Now this one here is important, of course, because it increases the attack by 5%. This one here, the crit rate is important, plus the shield gives you get a shield with the ultimate. And then this one here, you recover more MP. And the reason this one's important, of course, is the fact that you'll never go below the 15% with that MP. Now, there's a better option here, quite honestly, and that's one of the newer ones that you could do. For example, this one, but this is not even that great. What you really want to do ideally is go for this purple one here. Decreases MP recovery rate, but the MP consumption of basic skills go down by 12%. So that's a pretty damn good one for him to have as well too. Okay, this one over here. So the beauty of this is because of one blessing stone, specifically the Demon Slayer's blessing stone, this works extremely well. So let me show you guys without the blessing stone and with the blessing stone what the difference looks like. So I'll take this off for a second. We'll jump into a quick fight, and I'm going to show you guys with and without the blessing stone, especially if you're using anything that takes a lot of MP. Now I'm using the Guild Spear specifically right now just to kind of show you guys the example. Watch what happens with the MP when my Guild Spear kicks in, and look how quickly we lose MP with this setup, okay, without the Demon Slayer setup. And this is so important because you need to keep above 40%, right? So here, we're going to start off with Plum. We're going to let the boss do his usual thing, right? But you'll see the 60% damage is pretty insane, and it starts off very hard hitting right away. So watch this. We're going to go in, do our usual shadow step, get out of this. Now watch my MP. Okay, with this setup, the MP, you guys can see it does go down a tad bit, right? It is, in fact, losing a little bit of MP. Okay, going in again. Right? Look at my MP. Now, let's take that same example and move it over to, look, I'm already almost 50% MP right now, okay? And I'm losing it because obviously this thing over here is making me lose it, but it's okay, not the end of the world. I just want to show you guys the difference. Now watch. Let me go in with the Demon Slayer, and you'll take a quick look and see how different it looks right from the beginning. Forget when the statues pop up. Just watch from the beginning. You guys saw that damage. The damage is pretty insane. Now let's go in here and pop in Demon Slayer here. Now, on equip. Sorry, I'm going to equip this one. There we go. So the only difference here is we're swapping blessing stones. Nothing changes. Now look at this. Watch this. I'll start with Plum first off. But watch how quickly my MP recovers when I'm doing this fight with this specific Blessing Stone, okay? And how little MP I lose in the first place. So we'll do the exact same setup here. Dash and watch. Look at my MP barely move. Look at the difference there, guys. It's insanity, the difference when you see how much you do with and without the Blessing Stone in regards to MP, right? So look at this. Like we'll barely lose any MP here, and it's pretty wild how quickly you can go through your MP with this setup versus not. Right now, you guys can see this thing is going to drain my MP, but it's pretty straightforward and easy to get through. We're gonna go ahead and dodge, or we're gonna try to dodge that one, but we didn't. Okay, we're gonna do another quick attack. And again, look at my MP, right? Even the statue did hit me a few more times, not a big deal. I'm still above where I need to be. And again, just going back and forth and staying above that 40%, continuously getting that extra bonus buff in 60% extra damage. So this build here is amazing when it comes down to killing things super fast. Again, you guys can fight, you know, this boss however you need. Some people like to break him before the statues. That way you can avoid that whole phase. I'm just showing you one thing and one thing only, and that is the setup. Okay, so the setup on how to use this build and why it works so well. So again, if you guys are looking to keep your MP high and maintain your damage with the Obsidian set, Demon Slayer is a no-brainer in my opinion. It's a great place to have. It's a great Blessing Stone to have. Plus, it doesn't honestly reduce your damage too much. There are better damage dealing skills in place if you continue using a better weapon, but nonetheless, the 60%. Look at this. It maintained the entire fight, right, and just makes it so much easier to finish this. So, anyways, I normally don't use the Plum Sword. I just did it for this one. I normally use the Golden Tail Fox, which makes things 10 times easier. And plus, I use Electric Shock. Normally, I finish this fight in like 45 seconds, right? So it's not that hard, but I just want to show you guys that setup and that build. So let's show you guys now the other build that's the most popular build, and that actually is going to be the Expert set. Now the Expert set is a better overall build. It's still the meta when it comes down to longer content. So think of like what is it called? Path of Destruction, Power Destruction. Think of the guild boss. Think of WOBL. Some WOBLs, not all of them, depending again how quickly you can finish it. The Expert set does work extremely well. So let's go ahead and sub in the Expert set, and I'll throw another weapon on, and you guys can see how that one works. Okay, so let me just go find my Expert set. I think, who's wearing that? I think there's somebody else wearing it right now. I think it's Cha actually that's wearing it. So let's just take it off Cha, and we'll put it on right now. Okay, and I'll show you guys how this works. So we're gonna put Dark on. Now, the beauty of Expert set is you build up a ton of attack with the ability to, whenever you crit, right? So crit is going to be very important. Now, this build, you don't need Demon Slayer. You can take that right off, and ideally, you want anything that does multiplies crit damage, anything that can give you guys multiple hits. The more hits you can crit, the faster you'll build your Expert. So very, very important to remember that. So we're gonna go ahead and throw an Electric Shock on here. And what I'll do here, instead of putting in the actual Guild Spear, will throw in the DKD. Okay, so DKD is important. Another one that's really good here is Moon Shadow Daggers, but we're gonna throw DKD in here with it because that's a multi-hitting weapon, and it'll build crit really fast. And sharp perception is really big on this one because sharp perception gives you more crit rate, which means you'll be doing a lot more damage with your overall moves, right? So the more experts you can build, the faster the better. That's essentially how it works. So this is the other build that is I consider still the better of the two, because most of the fights that matter are much longer, so you're going to be using Expert set way more often. But you guys can see right over here, I've got 3 sets of Curse, 4. It looks exactly the same as Curse, by the way, so don't mistake the two. Okay, watch whenever I crit. Look at that. So I've already got 2 stacks, 3 stacks, right? So 4 stacks, 5 stacks. So the only problem with Expert set is the 4-piece set requires you, look, I'm not hitting as hard, obviously, right? The only problem is the Expert set requires you to build up over time. It does take a little bit more to build, so you're going to have to be a lot more careful with how you play this set, because the damage up front isn't as good, but when you start building enough of it, you can do insane amounts of damage. You guys can see I'm at 16, right? So insane damage coming through. So that's 16 at 0. I think it was a 0.70% attack increase. So I'll have to double check the numbers for you again. It's been a long time since I've looked at those numbers. But you guys can see here, overall, we're building it now. But these shorter fights, 23 stacks is not going to be as good as 60% damage increase. It just won't be. There's just nothing that matches that 60% at short fights. But the longer the fight, the more you build up, the faster, the more attack you're going to get. And that attack amount is going to outmaneuver, outdamage anything you have when it comes down to damage increase at that rate, right? But look at my MP, right? It's another thing to remember. Look at my MP loss, right? Okay, watch this. So we're gonna just finish this up real quick. There's one. Where am I at now? 33 stacks, 34 stacks. So normally you do like, I don't know, on a longer fight you can probably get up to 60 plus stacks. On PODs you can get even more. On some of the WOBLs you can get roughly around that. And then anything with let's say Guild Boss, I think the most I've done is 65, 70 stacks worth. So speaking of Guild Boss, let's go ahead and do a Guild Boss run. We'll do Outstanding Ability versus Expert and see which one actually comes up as a better overall build. So this is going to be the team I'm going to run here, okay? This is not a full run. This is just to show you, again, the difference between Outstanding Abilities and Expert. But you guys can see everybody here does have full gear. So we're gonna just go ahead and test this out and see what team does or what setup does better. And feel free, of course, guys, to mimic this setup however you want. If this does help you, that's the whole goal of this, right? So let's go ahead. We'll start off with Outstanding Abilities and consider this, I guess, a semi-tutorial on free-to-play Guild Boss. It might not be the best run because I don't have the best setup going in terms of gear and everything, but we'll go ahead and do it. And normally, just so you guys are aware, I don't run a DPS SJW on my free-to-play because realistically it has no business doing it. I don't have legendary magnify slashes, which is huge, and it doesn't really help when, you know, the setup itself isn't optimized for damage. So there you guys go. Just again though, the test here is to in fact just see which one does better, Expert versus whatever the hell the set is called again. Outstanding Ability. I always forget to say set's name. All right, so go with ads coming in here. Feel free to jump in, try to kill them off if you can. Your team should come in and help you very shortly. You don't have to use your skills. You can if you want to, but your team should be coming in very shortly to finish up the scraps here. And then from here, you guys can end up going after the boss when she pops up. There she is. Feel free to cast again. Stick around here. Don't move until she does that. You want to lock her into that setup right there where she does the skills, the four of them. The 3 attacks, I should say. Not 4 attacks, it's 3 attacks actually. Right there. Again. Get ready for the break. Now, you want 2 breakers to make this happen. If you don't have 2 breakers, c'est la vie to that, bro. You're not going to probably get a break off unless you have 2 breaking abilities going, which is going to be impossible for most setups anyways to be successful. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you are doing this. It's very, very important to have that extra breaker in place. Most of you guys are running a fire team, and if you are, you're being much more successful. You guys can see I do not have a fire team in place for mine, so it's very, very apparent that I need to have a proper build going here. Okay, so there's 4.6. Let's go ahead and do ultimate here. Try to catch these guys as much as we can with damage. Yes, it doesn't look like it's a lot of damage, and I agree, it's really not, but it's something. Okay, we're going to try to get these guys all in the air. Again, the whole goal is to hit as many of these guys as you can. Try to kill as many as fast as you can. Once your team shows up, it's pretty much GG, but we got to wait for them to pop in, right? Wherever the hell they are. There they go. There they are. The whole squad is here. Perfect. Now we can probably kill these guys quicker. One more ad left. Boss should be coming. Again, cast your... Oh, I missed every single one of those. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. There we go. We still got what we needed though. We missed a lot though. That was a bad one. You don't want to miss erosion. It's such a big deal in terms of the amount of damage your hunters will do when you mess that up. But you guys can see that was a little bit of a mess up on my part. So my fault, guys. It is what it is. We're gonna work with it as much as we can. Get ready to dodge. Okay, got a shadow step in. That right there is what you don't want. When she does that jump, she goes so far back that you actually end up missing a lot of your skills. So please, guys, avoid that as much as you can. Try to keep her in front of you. There you guys go. First run, 15 rage count. We won't count it. 15 rage count is not that great. Again, I don't have a fire team. Makes it much harder, right? Okay, so there you guys go. 15 rage count, 8.5 billion damage on free to play. Now we're gonna jump into this with using expert now. Okay, we had a couple mishaps here and there, but I think it's still a fairly decent run, and I think we can still consider that an okay result. Okay, so 8.5, and then we'll jump in here now and do expert set. So I was making sure I was recording. I was like, am I recording even? And then we'll go ahead and put in everyone's DPS stuff. Let's go ahead and take Chaw's out, and we'll give Chaw her other one. Attack, additional attack. We'll keep dark damage here for this one for sure. Now, one thing to note, outstanding abilities. I had light bracers on. That's going to be somewhat of a big deal because light bracers obviously aren't going to do quite as well. But it is what it is. I have +4 attack, so I have to also consider the fact the attack for my outstanding abilities build is way better than my attack on my expert set. Okay, just so everyone is aware, that's the reason why that's happening. So let's just go ahead and give her the difference here between the two sets, attack, and we'll give her this one, or is it this one? Let me see which one's smarter. I think this one's better for her overall. Okay, there we go. So in regards to attack differences, 39 versus 41, I think was the difference, right? Still a fairly pretty good margin between them. All right, so let's run this one. 8.5, see if we can beat 8.5 billion with expert set, and see how many expert sets we can actually stack with this as well. Oh, one thing I do want to do, sorry guys, let me just exit out one more time. You don't need to have Demon Slayer on this with outstanding ability gone. We're gonna put another blessing stone in place, so that you have to consider that's a pretty big blessing stone for outstanding ability, but it's a shitty blessing stone for expert. So we're gonna take this one out and we're gonna go ahead and put something else in. I'll probably put in pulverize just so I can do a little bit more damage in regards to the break phase. Not necessarily a big deal, but it'll make a little bit of a difference. Okay, so let's see if we can do a better run here. So same scenario, let her jump, I should say. I always say him. I don't know why I say him. Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay, get ready to go in the front. Now we'll step in. We're at 13 stacks already, guys, okay? Just so you guys can see that. The stack's 14, 15. Like, we're at 1.17 million. All right, we're going to go after these guys here and help this squad out here. Try to do as much damage as we can and kill these guys off quick. Honestly, the ads are probably the worst part of this entire fight, I would say. At least in my opinion, I hate the ads. I think a lot of people can agree with that. Okay, Shadow Dagger. Now I'm keeping my shit in place here because I want to be able to do the break when it matters. There it is. We should be able to get a break off here. Good. Now go back to the regular rotation. By the way, you saw last fight, I did not need pulverize whatsoever. I just did it because I have it. But you don't need it. I don't even have a legendary one, to be honest. The legendary one would make a big difference, obviously, in damage, but heroic one's meh, it's okay. See that right there? That's what I was referring to. When she does that jump, it completely screws everything up. Okay, anyways, it is what it is. We're going to keep going. Try to hit as many of these guys as we can. Moon Shadow Daggers here. Our goal, guys, kill these guys as quick as we can. Always the goal. And don't worry about using like magnifying slashes in this case because he's gonna go for another. There we go. Magnifying slashes, perfect. Try to get in front. Save your break here. There it is. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. Where are we at in stacks? 72 stacks, guys. 72 freaking stacks, bro. Both are pretty valid, though. You guys can see here, we're doing pretty well either way, right? But clearly Expert takes the cake. Expert kills it in regards to long fights, and this is what we're referring to, right? So it's a very, very big deal, guys, in regards to the difference between the two of them. Can I get 17? I don't think so. There you guys go. 10.823. All right, I'm going to register this one for the sake of registering it, but you guys can see here it does, in fact, make a pretty big difference between expert and outstanding ability. I think it's a huge difference. So hopefully that helps you guys see the difference between the two of them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.